Hey guys, what's up? Today's a special day. It's the anniversary of the first video I posted on YouTube, the video of the XPS foam bricks I made for modeling, which I then later on went to create the lighthouse model with. So I thought this would be an excellent day to make a video to kind of celebrate and also to say thanks once again for all the support I've gotten up until now on this journey of YouTube. And if you'll remember, the second video I put out when I was all excited and wanted to get ready to thank everybody for the support was a video where I made this dinosaur model from a dollar store excavation kit and some modeling clay. So I thought for the 1-year anniversary of Rabbithole Hobbies, you guessed it, we'd make another dinosaur. This time we got the Brontosaurus. I think it's gonna be a fun way to celebrate and once again say thanks for all the support you guys have given me. Because if you're digging it, so am I. And by that I mean, let's dig some more dinosaur bones. I'm gonna do what I did last time and try and use the tools provided first. We'll see how that goes. Maybe in a year I've become more wise and more skilled at my tool proficiencies. Oh, I'm excited. I haven't practiced my modeling skills at all since I did this last, so don't know why I'm expecting it to go any better, but I mean, it's just such a fun thing to do. Oh yeah, look at these tools, the exact same tool set. Nice. I remember it being pretty messy. Hopefully it's not as messy as I remember. Let's dig. I once again do not have the patience for this. I'm gonna go get a screw. Now it's time to get into it. Well, I think that's it, and against my better judgment, I'm gonna clean all this up and throw all the rest of this sandy clay whatever in the garbage and hope I have all the pieces, because if I don't, I'm gonna have to go dig through them. But I think I ended up way less dusty this time, so I'm definitely getting better whatever it is I'm doing. So yeah, I'm gonna go clean this stuff up and wash the bones off, and then we'll get to building the skeleton. Okay, so I got all the bones washed up and they're dry now, but just like last time, there's a little bit of gunk stuck in here. We're gonna have to get our trusty old toothpicks out and clean the gunk before we can put the dinosaur together and hope that all the pieces are there from the build. Hey, let's see if we can build this Brontosaurus. Success. It's not as big as I thought it would be in comparison to the Velociraptor. I definitely thought Brontosauruses were way bigger than Velociraptors. I have no idea what I'm basing that off of, but I definitely thought this was going to be way bigger. Anyways, I'm glad we got that done. I have obviously no idea what a Brontosaurus looks like. Or what it would look like. So instead of doing what I did last time and jumping straight into it, I think I'm gonna sleep on the design for the modeling with the clay, because we're trying to learn and get better. So I'm gonna leave this overnight and think about kind of how I want to design the outer layers of the Brontosaurus. So we'll get to that tomorrow. So I've spent a bit of time, a couple days, trying to figure out how I wanted to go about making this dinosaur so I can make it better than the last one. And I think I've come to the conclusion that instead of forming the clay around it as like a full layer and then trying to carve the feathers in details like I did with the last dinosaur, I'm gonna maybe try cutting out individual feathers out of clay and assembling it like that to give it a little bit more realism and depth. So I've got this vase that we keep in our kitchen to keep some of our cooking utensils in. I'm gonna use it instead of a rolling pin, because we don't have a rolling pin, to roll out flat, hopefully even thin layers of clay. And then with the X-Acto knife, I'm gonna try and just cut out feather-shaped pieces and assemble them together. I expect this will take a little bit of time, but I'm gonna go for it and see what happens. I remember learning before that it's best to kind of work the clay a little bit. before you do what you're doing with it. I guess maybe to get it warmed up and stretched out. I don't really remember, but I am gonna just work it a little bit here and then roll it out and start cutting. That looks kind of like a feather. I guess before we cut any more out, let's see if we can get them to stick. Well, they stick all right. They're looking all right so far, maybe. Well, it's been going pretty well so far. It's turning out pretty cool, I think. What I did is I kind of rolled out some of the clay. It ended up being thicker than I planned, but instead of making a stencil, because I was originally thinking about making like a cookie cutter thing or possibly printing some kind of textured rolling pin like I've seen people do for models, I decided to just freehand it, and I think that the inconsistency in the feathers that I've cut out really gives it like a more realistic look to it. I know it's not realistic because it's a dinosaur, but I do like the way it's going. I started at the tip of the tail and worked my way back by adding them on top of each other this way. My thinking behind that is that if feathers are there to help protect the animal from the environment like the rain and stuff, you'd want it whisking away from the head off the tail, so you'd want to build it almost like shingling a roof from the end up. And I think having them that thick, as thick as they turned out, helped because it really added a lot of bulk, because the tail was only, really thin. So it's kind of helped fill out the flesh that would be there that didn't end up being there. But yeah, I think it's turning out pretty well. I just got to the hip area and the back legs keep falling out because they're just placed in on these little square slots, and they were fine before until I started trying to do this. So I added some Gorilla Glue and I've been sitting waiting for it to dry because I can't touch it without risking them falling out again. And I'm getting a little bit impatient. It's been maybe an hour since I glued them, and I think I'm good to go ahead again. So I'm gonna continue on. Parts like under here where there's nothing really to build onto, I'm gonna do similar to what I did on the last one. When I made this guy inside these caverns, I just kind of put big balls of clay to attach to, and what I'm trying to do on this guy is just keep adding feathers to build up that texture and that mass. So yeah, I think it's time to carry on. Well, I'm finally done with the sculpting. It turned out better than I actually thought it would, though. As I got closer to the neck didn't turn out as well as I'd hoped for, and I was really counting on it turning out really well. But it also, I'm not really sure if it turned out looking as much like feathers as I did. It kind of like gives me woolly mammoth vibes, but but let me know in the comments what you think. I do think this turned out maybe better than the first one so far. Let me know about that in the comments as well. Just getting ready to paint. I think because of the similarity to wool and because of what happened with the last paint job, looked kind of silly, I'm going to go for a more natural browny kind of color, maybe with some blue undertones. And I've left the face and the feet uncovered with clay because this is the last dinosaur face I tried to sculpt. So I'm gonna try and paint them. I don't really expect the paint to adhere to them much, but here we go. So I'm gonna start off by painting everything a bit blue. It's tough because I can't really touch it too much without risking, with my hands, without risking folding up all the pieces of clay. I'm trying to be kind of careful. This brush is going right in the garbage. So the further along I go, the more I'm realizing to get the paint really in there, I'm almost making like a blue wash. It's just super, super watered down blue paint that I can brush on, and then it spreads fairly well on its own. There are parts where the paint's a bit thicker that I am trying to dilute, but I think it's coming in pretty good. And we can go over top of this with another color. I'm gonna try and make a blue-based brown, I think. I've squeezed a bunch of the feathers in on the sides, but now we're gonna let them dry and paint them again. Okay, now that this is pretty well dry, I'm going to mix some yellow and the same blue together and hope we can make some kind of, I don't know, light-ish, maybe brown. I know you're supposed to use complementary colors, but I don't have orange and I don't really want to get into mixing orange. Okay, we definitely need something else in here. Maybe a bit of deep red. Well, it's kind of browning up. Looks more like gray though. It's gonna be a disaster, I can already tell. My color theory is failing me. I'm gonna put more yellow in. What a mess. Oh, that's straight up just gray. I'm just gonna keep mixing colors in. Put in more green, and a bit more red. That's kind of brown. Let's go with it. I do the same thing, super watered down. I kind of want the blue to come out from behind. Okay, we've got our brown on lightly over top of the blue. I think that looks pretty cool. Now we just let that dry too. And the final part, our favorite part, the wash. Catch up with you guys when it's dry. Okay, now that it's mostly dry, we're gonna do the wash. See, there's some white spots left that aren't covered, and I'm hoping the wash will cover it all. If it doesn't, I will do some more painting and make sure it's all covered. Here we go. Oh, there we have it. I finished the second dinosaur model. I'm not sure why I decided that this was the way I wanted to say thanks and show my appreciation for the support I've been getting, but Apparently it is. So if you enjoyed that, or you have any tips or tricks of your own, please leave me a comment and hit that like button and tell me if you think this one's better than the first one. I definitely think it is. My sculpting and painting skills definitely still need some work, but I think I'm definitely getting better, and I'm excited to continue to get better and do another one at some point. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and stay tuned. I'll see you guys at the next video.